statement, and then
Okay.
we'll take questions.
You know, I think first, you know, it's just said it on the radio. That's a heck of a team that we played tonight. You know, sometimes you don't realize how many good teams are out there. And, you know, and we played some good ones, you know, in the non-conference. We played a couple teams that obviously are playing in the NCAA tournament. And they're as good as any team that we played. They're really good. And, you know, Gino Ford, who I've known for a long time, has done a great job in the week that he's been the interim coach there. You know, he recruited a lot of those guys. My hope, you know, is that he gets that job, you know, because you could see those guys believe in him and play for him. There's no doubt about that. And on our side, I'm surprised as anybody in the arena the way we played in the first half. Guys have been very, very good in practice, excited about playing. But to be honest with you, that's why you play in this stuff. You know, because we've never been in a postseason before. We've never played in a, if you lose, you're done. Back up against the wall, kind of got, you know, hit by a couple haymakers and kind of regroup in the last 2 minutes of the first half was big for us to cut that to 18. Got on the guys pretty good at halftime, more so just about, you know, not playing our style of basketball. Not defending, giving up too much dribble penetration, open threes off that penetration. They hurt us on the glass, and we needed to do something about it. And there was nothing that I could write up or any change in the coverage or anything like that. It was going to be about heart and grit and sticking together and figuring out a way. You're not going to get it done in one play. You got to chip away at it. We talked a little bit about the Temple game on the road when we were down 17. And that was our defense keyed that comeback. And that's what you saw in the second half. Our defense was outstanding in the second half. So active, in the gaps. You know, we forced a lot of turnovers, forced 20 turnovers, you know, 14 steals. That's activity, you know. And sometimes they drive me crazy because it's maybe a little too much of the riverboat gambler, but it works. You know, and give our guys credit. I'm as proud as that team as any team I've ever coached, been part of. The way they responded, we were dead, flatlined, and they sucked it up and figured out a way to get it done. And you know, I said on the radio, I was walking out of the tunnel, walking through the tunnel at halftime, and a fan, you know, said, "Hey, Coach, that's embarrassing." And you know what? He's right. He's right. One thing is, all those games last year, no one ever said that to me. You know, because we've starting to raise what people expect, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, for the most part, you know. But the first thing I told our guys was that. And we got a prideful group. We got a group that believes in this school, believes in what we're building, and does not want to do that. And they showed it in the second half. They showed it in the second half. And tough, man. We're tough. We're not great, but we are tough.
Coach, I can tell you're a little emotional about what your team did tonight. Can you talk about David Collins' performance? Because he seemed to put the team on his back today and decide that you weren't going to lose.
I thought the game turned a little bit in those last 3 minutes of the first half, and that's when he scored, I think, 7 points maybe in that stretch. But he was phenomenal today. And I'm hard, man. I'm hard on him and Quince because they just, you know, at those positions are so important to what we're trying to do. You know, but he showed why he's an all-league player. He showed why I think he'll be a viable candidate down the road for Player of the Year in this league. He showed why we've given him a lot of opportunities to grow and to respond, and he did tonight. There's no question about it. He did tonight. And, you know, you got to live with some of the mistakes. Sometimes I forget he's a sophomore, and this is the first postseason game he's ever played in. But he made big plays for us, both offensively and defensively, obviously.
You guys always talk about getting back to the identity of this team, and you guys really did that in the second half. Can you talk about just, you know, getting back to that identity and pushing forward?
Yeah, you know, because, you know, one of the biggest things is, you building the culture, all that. That's an everyday thing. You know what it is? It's your behavior, it's your habits, what you believe in, and your culture is your players, what they do, and we're not as consistent as we need to be, but that's probably where we're at in this stage of building. But we do know it's in there, and they showed it in the second half. There was no, like I said, there was no change of anything that we did in the second half. It was just our guys playing our brand of basketball, which is really physical, pressuring the ball, helping each other, not giving up second shots, and then moving on to the next play. I think when you got a young team, that's one of the hardest things. If we cut it to 2 and then we turn the ball over, I think 2 straight times, or we take a 3 and a turnover, and they get it up to 4 or 5 again, and you can't panic. You got to just keep doing what we're doing, and our guys did that, But, Q didn't play one of his best games, but he did, especially in the second half, really solidify what we were trying to do. And, he's not 100%, and he just hasn't been able to practice, so he's out of rhythm. That's the biggest thing with him. He's just out of rhythm. But he played great in the second half. He led the team. He got us into what we needed to get into. He ran our offense, and defensively he was really good. So, I told him sometimes, with where he's at right now, sometimes he needs to be, in third gear and play with a little more basketball feel than being in fifth gear and just being the bulldozer, which he's great at. You know what I mean? And that's part of his growth curve, and I really like what I saw out of him in the second half today.
Coach, obviously, any first appearance in the postseason in 7 years is going to be a memorable one. But how much more special is it when you come back in the largest comeback in program history?
Is that the largest?
We don't know.
We don't know. Well, I mean, anytime you come back like that, and I'll be honest with you, during that time they're building the lead, I never thought we were out of it, as dumb as I am. You know what I mean? And, I asked in time, are we down 16 or 18 at halftime? And that's when, right away the Temple situation came in. Our guys, we have fought in every game, even if we didn't play well, 0-7 in the league against the NCAA tournament teams, but 8-3 against everybody else. In those 7 losses, we fought pretty good in all those. If you're going to get it, it's a heck of a way to get the 20th win, the first win in the postseason. And again, I said it. Why you do this, and there's a lot of teams that have done this, and you look at what they've done afterwards. Texas, Purdue, Pittsburgh, in our league, Cincinnati, Wichita State, Tulsa, Loyola. Some high-level teams. This experience, there's nothing you could do to ever match this experience, and do you face that in a game next year? Do you face that in the conference tournament next year? Do you face that in the postseason again next year? Those are things that the only way to learn is to go through them, and luckily we have the support and the vision of where we want to get to, that we were able to do that today.
Coach Yeboah pretty much controlled the game in the first half,
Yeah.
but in the second half, he was a non-factor. Was there something different in the way he decided?
We gave a little more help, but we were so active. He never got comfortable, and Lex did a much better job on him in the second half, no doubt about it. Our ball pressure stopped them from getting the ball into the post. That's your first line of defense on post defense, is the passer. We did a much better job. We got them so out of sorts on offense. They were out of rhythm the whole second half offensively. So it really, as good as Lex did, it was a very good team effort to kind of shut him down in the second half.
Michael Durr gives you, kind of the spark in that run to begin the second half, and he has just played so well in the last couple of games. Talk about just what he's done.
Well, he looked pretty good in that stretch, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes, I was like, whoa. And we've seen that in practice. He shows flashes of that. Now that's offensively. Now the one thing he didn't do today, and it's not his fault. He only got 4 rebounds, but I think in the last 6 or 7 games he's averaging over 10 rebounds a game. He's really been rebounding well, but he's getting better, you know. And our guys are comfortable throwing the ball into him. They were playing dead behind the post, so once we saw that, we ran a couple plays to get him the ball, and our guys fed him, and he was aggressive to score. You know, and you know, he's a year away and 15 more pounds and, you know, 5 months in the weight room away from being able to, I think, play like that on a consistent basis. I really do. Again, a freshman to play in that game, how much is that going to pay dividends down the road? It's huge. It's huge. It's just huge. Because if not, what would we be doing today, guys? We'd be sitting around watching the games on TV doing nothing. You know what I mean? But Mike's got it. I said it before, and I mean it. He's got an unbelievable work ethic. You know, both Monday, not Sunday, Monday and yesterday in 8 a.m. working on his shooting. What is he from the free throw line the last 4 or 5 games? Anybody know? I bet it's really good. I bet it's really good. So, I usually know that stuff. Very rarely do I ask a question I don't already know the answer to.
It's an emotional night.
Yeah.
You guys are back here on Monday night.
Yeah.
How important is that, especially in the postseason, for you guys to be back at home?
Oh, great. It's great. It's great. We don't got to travel. That's number one. Number two, you know, had a crowd that got into it today. Hopefully a little more on Monday. You know, I appreciate those people coming, you know, and our guys do as well. It meant a lot to them. But to turn around and you get a day off and a couple of days to prepare and then play a very good team at home again, just a great opportunity for us. It really is. And with TJ and Nick and Ron as seniors to be able to still play at home, and to be honest with you, not to have to miss any school traveling. You know, it's one of the always challenges with playing in the postseason. As you travel, you miss a lot of classes. So with all that being said, it's a great opportunity, and again, it speaks volumes for the support that our program has. You know, through the administration and through the university, in terms of, you know, if we're gonna play, let's play to win, and if playing at home gives us a little better chance, and let's do it. And that's big. That's big.
14 to 15, last 3 games.
That's would you call that pretty good?
Decent.
Yeah, it's decent. Decent. Yep, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I'm not saying he's going to be a 90% shooter overall, but you can see he's changed his. We changed his shot. He's putting in the time, and he's doing a great job.
Was this what you guys envisioned when you entered this tournament?
I didn't envision being down 26 points, you know. But yeah, I said it. You know, I talked to some coaches that have played in this, and parlayed this down the road to future success. And I said it to the group before. Here's the 2 things you can do. You can go in it and play with great energy and play your butt off, and you build on that. Or you go and play like we did in the first half, where you do that for 40 minutes. But that's a learning experience too. And no matter what happened tonight, we needed to learn from what happened. And it's a lot better to learn when you win the game than if you lose it, because you get to play again. But, you know, you're doing it, you know, to keep practicing, to get our guys used to the routine of you're playing someone you know nothing about. You know, you just went through 3 months of playing in the league where you know every play, every player, everything that the other team's doing, and they know everything that you're doing. So now you get into postseason, it's completely different. And you got to take great pride in your preparation, and I thought our guys did that. And you got to take great pride in your execution, because if you execute well, the other team doesn't know everything that you're trying to get done. So, again, more than I envisioned, because we got a potentially historical win, but the way we did it is, you know, I don't like. I'm tired, man. I'm tired right now. You know what I mean? But our guys did a great job. They did a great job, so I'm very, very proud of them. All good?